Hey guys, you're right. Welcome back to Elizabeth Mayhem. And in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the novel In Every Mirror She's Black by Lola Akinmade Akerstrom. Alright, so the style of this novel is in a multi-point of view narrative, which is a storytelling technique where the plot is told through the perspective of two or more characters. Alright, summary. What is this story about? Okay, so this story is about three black women who are connected to this wealthy, influential CEO called Yonny von Luden. So we have Kemi, who is a highly career-driven, successful marketing executive who is Nigerian-American. We have Brittany Ray, who is a former model and a flight attendant who is Jamaican American. And then we have Muna, who is a grieving Somali refugee who has to rebuild her life and is granted asylum and struggles with isolation and feeling like she'll never, fully belong in a foreign country. And this whole story is intertwined with tokenism, classism, fetishization, and the loss of identity that many immigrants face when seeking refuge in an idealized utopia. And also, Brittany Ray is drawn to the ultra rich, which is what leads her to cross paths with Yonny. What do I dislike about this novel? I dislike the way Brittany Ray fell in love with Yonny. I think she fell in love with him too quickly, being for the fact that she has been with Jamal for 7 years. I mean, if someone is drawn to the ultra rich, right? Why would you be with someone for 7 years, right, who is basically her long-term boyfriend, and during the 7 years you didn't even think of breaking up with him? Sometimes you just go look at it this way. If a woman is obsessed with wealth, there is no way you'll be in a relationship with someone for that long. Personally speaking, I think it would have been better if Brittany Ray was with him for like under a year, or maybe if she was single. And in the novel she's in her late 30s, so someone who is in her late 30s, you've been with this guy for 7 years, and it's like, why are you still with him? I know, like, okay, he might give you status, but you're obsessed with wealth. Now, if Muna was a regular person, like, okay, she's not drawn to the ultra rich, like, she's just like, I mean, everybody is drawn to wealth at some point, I mean, naturally, but some women are really, really drawn into it. And in this novel, it just seems like, okay, Brittany Ray really wants to be amongst wealthy people. So it's like, personally speaking, if someone only wants to be with, who is drawn to wealth, why would you be in a relationship with an average guy for 7 years? So yeah, I just think, okay, maybe it would have been better if she was with him for under a year, or if she was single. And with that being said, I just feel like she fell in love with him too quickly. Like, okay, you've been with this guy for 7 years, and a rich man comes along, and now you just want to throw away 7 years and just be with Yonny simply because he's rich. I mean, I think that's just kind of weird. And another thing that I disliked, I think Muna could have had her own story, because I think her story was like sad. I mean, I understand why the writer, why Lola Akinmade decided to write it like that, because she wanted variety, to create contrast. But I just think maybe if Muna was also in her 30s and maybe works at Starbucks, or maybe was a banker, or maybe a homeless woman, I don't know. I just think, yeah. But I do like the contrast, but I just think she should have her own story. Okay, what do I like about this book? I like the fact that it's 3 different stories in one. Um, I understand it's the style, multi-point of view narrative, but I just love how, like, the fact that the writer could have made it like, okay, we have Kemi who works in a marketing executive company, and then Muna and Brittany Ray could have been her colleagues, and they all get headhunted by Yonny's firm, and they all go to Sweden from America. It could have been like that, but the fact that these 3 women are complete strangers, and they naturally, gradually get connected to this man. It shows how everybody knows the same person, and we don't even know it. 2 or more people are connected to or talking about the exact same person without realizing it. And it just shows how small the world is. You get what I'm trying to say? It shows how people's social circles overlap. You get what I'm trying to say? So I think that's interesting. And it also shows the influence, because if people don't know each other, but they know the same person, it means that person is popular. Kind of like being the popular kid at school type of thing, where everybody knows you, but you don't necessarily know everyone, that type of thing. I also love the fact that there are other background characters that make this story interesting. For example, the character Connor, who is the colleague and supervisor of one of the protagonists, Kemi. He works in the agency, the marketing agency, and he has this patronizing attitude, faux urban way of speaking when he's talking to Kemi because he's black. He fetishizes her, sees her as exotic, especially among black women. Sorry, not especially, but only amongst black women, because he doesn't talk to other race of women like that. Which is one of the reasons why, she goes to Sweden to escape predatory men. Okay, so who's my favorite character? My favorite character would have to be Muna, because of her innocence, the fact that she's been through a lot, and she just has this resilience, this strength, which is inspiring, which is why I think she should have her own story, because I think Kemi and Brittany Ray are quite similar in their career. They're both in their 30s, they're both career driven, and then Muna just has this, it's just this 18-year-old who is a refugee at an asylum center, and she has a lot of trauma. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the story, but yeah. And sometimes you just gotta say to yourself that, when someone of that age goes through something like this, in real life, a lot of young girls of Muna's age, they just can't handle it. But the fact that Muna has the strength about her, I don't think she even cries in this novel. No, she doesn't cry. She doesn't show weakness. She just shows strength and persistence and resilience. Kind of like she's kind of like a female soldier in this book. Someone who is opened to a lot of things. Like she understands people well. She's social. She has empathy. So yeah, what would I rate this book? I would give this a 4.2 out of 5 stars. Would I recommend this? Yes. Yeah, I would recommend it. In Every Mirror She's Black by Lola Akinmade Akerstrom. Get this book. You will not be disappointed. Yeah. And this book it has different layers and it's easy to understand. And the style of this book it's contemporary fiction. That's the genre. All right. Thank you guys for watching this book review. Elizabeth Mayhem. Stay tuned for more.